Hi guys, welcome back to Movie Nights, the COVID-safe edition.
It's the we wish we could film it together but can't yet.
We're reporting in internationally our experiences watching Tremors 7, Shrieker Island. Phelan, do you have a good time watching this movie?
I'm trying to think, out of this, last trilogy, or if you want to call it that, 5, 6, and 7, was this the best one? Was 5 better? 5 was okay, 6 was crap, and then this...
I think we can agree that 6 is the worst.
Yeah.
If you've got ass blasters, you have graboids.
Bullshit! Bullshit!
6 is
So this was a step up from 6 at least.
If I had to choose one, I would say that 5 was better than 7.
But it had less Jamie Kennedy, so there's that.
It did have less Jamie Kennedy. I will say, this one did a better job with a new environment than, the last one.
I was saying it would be funny, though, if they put that same blue filter while they were in Thailand. And just yeah, we're here in Nunavut again. You see elephants and monkeys.
Yeah. So I guess we should go over what the plot of Tremors 7 was. You ever see a movie called Jurassic Park-y?
No.
What if Jurassic Park 2 had graboids and shriekers in it?
Yeah, they also had a bit of Jurassic Park 1, though, because they had the clever girl bit, which you called before it happened, even.
Clever girl.
There's an island... oh my gosh, my cat, hello. Ash cameo! Woohoo! You want in on this?
She's not into this.
She's not into this. So, so there's an island. There's these hunters that have paid exclusively to hunt graboids, and in order to make it a better hunt for them, they've genetically altered these graboids to be the ultimate super predators.
A mega super predator.
The leader of this, too, he's that ultimate cocky idiot who's oh yeah, well, they're not going to get off the island, but we've genetically enhanced them, so I don't know what they'll do, actually.
And actually, we don't even know how they work normally. What, shriekers?
Couldn't have hunting normal ones been a big enough challenge? No, we have to genetically enhance them so that we really don't know what they'll do.
You would think, they would at least do their research into how they work just for hunting purposes, because otherwise you're just going in blind.
Yeah, they don't even seem to know how they work normally, because he's they can't get off the island. Then Burt's there talking later, oh, they'll turn into ass blasters, and then they can fly off the island.
We didn't see any ass blasters in this one, though.
No,
they didn't want to do the end of Jurassic Park 3 with the pterodactyls flying away.
Yeah, that would have been great.
They're that would be too derivative, I think. There's also some conservationists that are on a nearby island. They find a graboid on their island. They find graboids on Dark Island.
Dark Island.
Dark Island. Dark Island.
I feel like they named it Dark Island just as an excuse to get away with this filter.
The color grading, it's nonsense to me. They do the shitty blue-green dark filter just on that island, but the island next door to it doesn't have it. It's there's just a cloud of desaturated color tint over just one island in this area.
Yeah, they're on a couple of the other islands and they look perfectly normal. Then it's let's go to Shrieker Island. Blue. Whoa. Unless this is a magical fantasy world, that makes no sense. There's not just these magic blue clouds hanging over this one island.
Yeah, you're going toward the island on a boat and then you start desaturating. You're what's happening?
We're talking about if they wanted to set the atmosphere, just do it with things that make logical sense. You know, like have some at nightfall, like have it rain or something.
Yeah, like they did in Jurassic Park 2.
And Jurassic Park 1.
That is one big pile of shit.
This was the most Jurassic Park-y of it. Not only the tropical setting, which really made it more Jurassic Park, but, you know, they had the clever girl scene.
The private island, too.
Yeah, private island, big group of dumb hunters. I think even genetically enhanced creatures was a plot they were thinking of doing at one point in Jurassic Park. I think there's some concept art out there of, like, these, like, dinos with these, like, metal plates and stuff added to them or something, like they're super soldiers. It would have been incredibly stupid.
Yeah.
That is one big pile of shit.
They don't look super different, but they give them a couple new attacks, I guess. Like the Shriekers can actually hurt you with a sonic shriek.
Yeah, and I think like the armor is like reinforced on the graboids, though it doesn't seem to make much of a difference in blowing them up or anything. They have this like green coloring with the orange inside, so they're kind of like Nickelodeon versions.
Yeah.
And they explode. You just see these green and orange pieces. I don't understand the, like, added buttholes to the faces of the Shriekers.
Uh-huh.
Why do they got butthole faces?
They kind of remind me of this enemy in Silent Hill 3 that have this kind of butthole-looking face that walk on two legs like that, too.
And that's representative of, like, fear of buttholes or whatever.
Yeah.
That's how Silent Hill works. Too many buttholes.
Yeah.
Psychological
that game
damage of
about,
buttholes.
Actually. Buttholes.
Speaking of buttholes, so they get Burt involved with this. Okay, to be fair, the real butthole is Jamie Kennedy.
Who's in jail?
He's behind bars for bringing magic mushrooms across the Mexican border.
Peyote, is that even still a thing?
This is clearly something like rewritten from an earlier script that had Jamie Kennedy involved. For people who don't remember, he plays Burt Gummer's illegitimate son he didn't know about. He was in the last two movies, and he wasn't in this one, so they just say he's in a Mexican jail somewhere, but gave the coordinates to where Burt's living on an abandoned island for some reason.
Which is luckily next to all this other shit going down.
State of Nevada ordered me to hook up a sewer.
It means permits, government inspectors, bureaucracy.
He decided he just didn't like all these rules and regulations, so he's just living on an island gunless somewhere, which just seems like out of character for Burt Gummer.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem like he'd give that stuff up.
Not Mr. Burt Gunner.
The reason that I'm certain that this was supposed to involve Jamie Kennedy at some point is that one of the main characters, one of the conservationists, is the woman that he had Jamie Kennedy with, and she gets the coordinates from him off screen and has John Heder come in and take the place of this role.
Yeah, like it's very clearly he's supposed to be Jamie Kennedy, like in quite a few scenes where he seems overly attached to Burt. You know, this is a guy who just met him in this movie. But it's like, oh, Burt, he's my best friend.
I said we're ready to frag their friggin' asses.
Don't say things like frag their friggin' asses. Burt Gummer can pull off that stuff, but it's not a good look on you.
Sage advice.
It just doesn't make a lot of sense for them to have the mother character but not the son. And also, like, John Heder's character, he's one of the conservationists, and I guess he's supposed to have sort of given up. Like, he just drinks a lot and doesn't really take a lot of responsibility.
Oh, fart in the bag.
But they give up on his character through most of the movie. Like, he's just there, and he seems pretty competent, and there's like one or two moments where he talks about the fact that he's lived a sheltered suburban life, he's not really a tough guy, but it didn't really amount to much.
No, like, I thought at least he wasn't supposed to really be, like, someone who could deal with a situation like this very well, because at the beginning, you know, he's like getting the dynamite and they're like, oh, that dynamite might have sweat, so it could go off at any moment. Oh! But then all of a sudden he's like, oh yeah, you know how to get rid of those zip ties, get your shoelaces and saw them off, and then like, oh yeah, you know, the Shriekers, they have that new attack, so put these earplugs in. Like, he's telling Burt all this stuff. Burt's like, oh yeah, I should be doing that.
Put mud on me like Arnold did in Predator. I don't want those creatures seeing my heat signature. Not a terrible idea. Ooh. We don't want to lose that nice figure now, do we? Thought you didn't have any guns around here. It's not really a gun, it's a dart rifle. Every smart prepper knows to be prepared for situations like this and switches out his laces for 550 core.
I'm not sure how this is relevant.
Burt doesn't seem that aware of, like, basic survival stuff, too, in this one, which seems weird, because they mentioned that, and I knew the shoelaces thing, actually. I was like, why didn't Burt think to do that? He's like, we need a saw or something.
Yeah, you mentioned it before they did.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how this is relevant.
One of the sidekick girls, she's, like, really into, like, blowing things up, and tough girl, tomboy.
I'm not some tree-hugging vegan chick.
She mentions that she could use the sweaty dynamite for something. Like, she's like, oh, I can use that. And he's like, explain yourself. Like, he doesn't understand how they could use unstable dynamite to perhaps help their situation.
Yeah, he's like, well, it won't kill them. She's like, no, but it'd slow them down and let us know where they're coming from. I'm like, oh yeah, I guess so.
I'm not sure how this is relevant.
They've just come up with a bunch of, like, nonsense metaphors and similes in this, and they keep trying to make a catchphrase happen that doesn't happen.
If I looked half that good, I'd shave my ass and walk backwards. That ass clown's a skid mark on our collective underwear. This son of a bitch is dug in like a grizzly in December.
And these zip ties are a boil on my backside.
Vaya con diablo mia.
Destiny's a bitch.
Destiny's a bitch.
That's supposed to be good?
Does a bear shit in the woods and wipe its ass with a white rabbit?
Does a bear shit in the woods and wipe his ass with a white rabbit?
Ooh.
Oh, does a bear shit in the woods and use a white rabbit as toilet paper? No.
Yeah, I'm like, you're gonna need to actually confirm what that means, because that actually
like, does
is
that
more
mean
confusion.
obviously? Because I don't think that's very obvious.
Yeah, like, I actually don't think that answers the question at all. I don't know what he's getting at.
Bon appetit, bitch!
I do think it was, like, a little too gloomy and slow in a lot of parts. Like, it was hard to get into the adventure part of it, and even stuff that was supposed to be funny. Like, there's a part where a guy gets eaten in a toilet, which I feel like should be funny. It's opposite Jurassic Park. He got sucked into the toilet rather than taken out of the toilet.
Yeah. Yeah, someone was definitely watching Jurassic Park when they made this. I did like when that guy gets sucked into the outhouse, though, like, I don't know, it's either shit or blood or a combo of both hits a light bulb in there.
You're like, is that shit or blood? I guess it was shit, because when they open it, there's shit everywhere when they look at it later.
Shit everywhere. There's shit everywhere! He shit everywhere! Look what he did! He shit all over the wall!
Why was it in the shitter? I guess it went through the ground is the implication through the shit.
It was, I guess, feeling the vibrations of his poo. I don't know.
Oh, man. You have not had a shit as bad as this guy. But he wasn't taking a shit, right? He just hid in the shitter until he got killed, right? He heard something?
Yeah, I think you're right.
He wasn't... Because that would have been funnier if he was just taking a shit and he got killed. It feels like it was a punchline without a setup, so it was like, all right.
There's a moment too, like, where the main hunter guy is like just cackling as he's taking a bath, like, because I don't know, they're on a halftime break, like the graboids can't attack him while he's having a bath. It was completely ridiculous. He's there laughing at one of his other goons, like, I'm gonna hunt them graboids, I'm the best.
Effing Bill.
It'd be way better if one just killed him as he's in there laughing about this.
I thought that was what was gonna happen. Because, like, honestly, this is in the middle of the survival situation. So many people have died. They know that, like, shit's going down, and they're like, we're not gonna stop this hunt. The hunt doesn't end just because you say it ends. We're gonna keep going. Like, they signed their waivers. That it's fine.
Good thing they all signed waivers.
As if, like, any of this would hold up under any sort of scrutiny in a legal case.
He's allowed to trank Burt. He can get away with that for a while.
He can trank Burt, who did not sign a waiver. And they brought over the graboids, which are an endangered species.
They're endangered and also an invasive species.
I don't know what kind of laws they got in Thailand, about this sort of thing, but this can't hold up under any sort of scrutiny, even on
I would
a
think
private
this would be
island.
breaking some international laws and stuff too, just to be doing any of this.
I never lose. No one wins against these things. No one. I'm staying here. I'm gonna win, Burt. I'm gonna win.
This guy was ridiculous. He's like, I'm gonna win. There's no losing in this situation.
It made no sense. Like, he acts like he knows them so well, but he doesn't even know regular graboids, yet he's got super enhanced ones.
I don't know why the conservationists don't know about them either, because they find an exploded graboid and they don't know what shriekers are, and then they call in Burt to find out what to do, and then they're watching one of his instructional tapes that talks about what to do in this sort of situation, which has a lot of footage from the movies that he would not have. There's like footage from 2 in there. It's like, how would you have that? We weren't filming any of this. That's the best practical effects, though.
Yeah.
Don't show a lot of them from 3 or 4, though. They don't look very good during that era.
The effects in this one were okay, even though, they're obviously all digital, but I wish we saw the things better, because a lot of the time I feel like it's shaky, and like on Shrieker Island it's all dark and gloomy, so we didn't get a good look at things a lot of the time.
Yeah, I didn't like the effects they were doing when they were showing the Shrieker attack where the sound hurts them. They started doing this filter and shaky cam that made it look like a bad cutscene from like a video game.
Yeah, especially where the guy pulls out like the minigun and is firing everywhere. It just looked like, we should have a HUD in one of the corners, like with our health and stuff and bullets left. Burt's like, I don't know, ex-girlfriend or just someone he had a fling with. She was weird.
She didn't seem to care about anything. Like, she's like, sorry about not telling you about your son and all that. I think it's cool. Oh, people are dying. It's fine. What's going on? Are you guys fighting a graboid right now?
I guess to be fair to her in that situation, though, most people wouldn't want to know they made Jamie Kennedy.
She gave birth to him, and he just had Jamie Kennedy's grown head on the baby. It's like, I can never tell him. This can never be known. And he's like, hey, I'm gonna have a prank show in the future. And she's like, no, please.
No. This is a bad experiment.
Malibu's Most Wanted. No. The Mask 2. No.
You've been waiting for me, haven't you?
Burt's like, I would have been mad if it was like a normal kid, but yeah, I see why you didn't tell me.
The one thing I can say is thank you for your mercy.
I like that neither him or her really care about their son. They're like, oh yeah, he got busted for drugs, like smuggling mushrooms across the border. And they're like, what a dummy. Well, he's in jail anyway.
That's kind of the best possible ending for his character, is he went to prison and no one cared. Was there any parts of this that you particularly liked? Do you have a favorite part?
I mean, the part where Burt and Napoleon Dynamite are fighting the Shriekers is pretty good.
What'd you do all last summer again?
I told you, I spent it with my uncle in Alaska hunting wolverines.
Did you shoot any?
Yes, like 50 of them.
I think that's some of the best action in it. And like, is in a cave, so like the coloring didn't bother me as much as when they were outside.
The asshole hunter guys. So they're like a bunch of like rich asswipes who have paid to come and just kill something. And for some reason, like the one lady that works with the hunter that's like the sharpshooter, like she's got like this honor system here. Like we had clean hunts, but these ones, I don't know about this. They've got like these kind of this nice setup in this tent, as nice as you can get on this private island anyway. And they're all dressed like way too nice.
Like super clean looking, and like you're talking about, like, she's got like super done up eyelashes and stuff.
Yeah, like her eyelashes are like either fake eyelashes or curled up with a lot of mascara. And she has to have like some really good setting spray, because in that much humidity, like it's just gonna melt off completely. They were all kind of dumb though. I guess it made it more satisfying when they died that they were that dumb. They trusted her like to shoot the arrow into the apple on his head. Like, She could have just not been as good as she said she was. Could have not even been malicious. Like, she could have killed him easily.
It's like a bunch of drunk idiots, and they're like, oh, I can do this, because they're all drinking too, when she decides to shoot this apple off his head.
I feel like they got off way too light with Burt too. Like, I feel like he was a lot more mellow in this movie.
He was.
Island life mellowed Burt out. Even when, like, he and John Heder have this argument whether he's gonna come when they're doing the ending from the first Tremors movie.
We lead it over the cliff, into the caldera, and blow it to hell. Worked for Val and Earl 30 years ago. It'll work for us.
And then John Heder shows up against what Burt told him to do. And he's like, oh, it's you again. All right, well, here's what we're gonna do.
Mr. Gummer?
You again.
Yeah? So, what's the plan?
Which is another moment where it's clear this was supposed to be his son again. But Jamie Kennedy sucks, so it's John Heder.
This makes the whole thing funnier. Phelan, we gotta get to the pink elephant in the room here. Like, what happens at the end of this movie?
Burt Gummer Day.
This was kind of embarrassing, Phelan.
Yeah, it was kind of like, is this really it? Are they going to do a stupid fake out, or is this lackluster ending really how they're taking out Burt Gummer?
Okay, so I guess we should tell people Burt dies.
He dies.
Burt dies for real.
For really
Unless they
real.
have some really contrived 8 where they're like, just kidding, I'm pretty sure.
8 starts, shot of his grave. Hand comes up. Ah!
I didn't know that. I'm surprised I was not spoiled for this because we've waited a bit before we actually watched this. People asked me about reviewing it, but no one said anything, which, thank you. Everyone was so nice about that. I kind of thought once they exploded the thing with him in it, they can't get him out at that point. That didn't really make a lot of sense. So I'm like, either something really dumb there's going to be some dumb explanation as to why he survived, or Michael Gross is like, please, can you stop asking me to make these? Please, I'm so old. I don't want to keep going to Thailand or South Africa to film action movies. Please, let me be an old man.
Somehow, they always find me. Not this time. I'm retired.
And this is like one of the big problems where, just having people that met him only in this movie acting super sad about his death, like, makes it mean less. It's like, clearly his son was supposed to be there, but no. John Heder instead, and like, they give him all these shots, like, looking intensely at his grave, super
even above
broken
his
up over
girlfriend. It's John Heder that gets the most, like, sad shots by the grave.
Yeah, well, like you were saying, like, this woman, it's someone he had a fling or a short relationship with a long time ago, so it wouldn't even mean a whole lot to her, you wouldn't think either. I think you need someone like from one of the original movies in this one to give his death a little more weight.
Yeah, they could have got Kevin Bacon. We know he's on the Tremors train now. He might have been tied up with that pilot at that point, though, because I believe this concluded filming in 2019. So it's been on the shelf for a little bit.
Yeah, and then they have a line about, like, graboids spreading like a viral pandemic, and like, ew, that's awkward in hindsight.
Yeah, bad timing.
We have approximately 48 hours to stop these things before they molt and spread like a virus.
No, a viral pandemic.
They do mention Val and Earl. I guess you get a Val and Earl mention because they're like, hey, let's do the ending of 1.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I think we always knew that Burt Gummer was going to go out with Napoleon Dynamite at his side. I think that's what this was all leading up to.
Are you going to eat your tots?
Also,
it was hilarious. I just kept laughing because they had these sad shots of John Heder in a Hawaiian t-shirt looking at his grave with sunglasses and a hat on it, like, oh, my great friend Burt Gummer. And then I was like, credits, and then it happened.
And then it happened. Celebrate Burt Gummer Day.
Yeah, and then it said celebrate Burt Gummer Day on April 14th. I guess they were like, this is kind of a bummer from the Gummer, huh?
Yeah.
I think, like, when it started, like, becoming increasingly obvious that it was actually going to be a for-real death, I kind of just felt nothing. I feel like I should be sadder about this, but I'm kind of like...
It's become so numb.
It wasn't a bad movie, so it's not like I was just like, ugh, end, but it just felt like it was time. Like, I just don't feel like we need more Tremors movies, not at least like this. I would have been interested in the Kevin Bacon series to do something different with it, to refresh it, but as far as these, like, Burt goes to blank, I just feel like they were running out of ideas and they were kind of diminishing returns.
Like, they had more ideas for that series, and that stayed in perfection.
Yeah, and they did lots of different permutations that were really interesting. Like, they had lots of... It wasn't necessarily just graboids and shriekers, they had other kinds of creatures, but that, I think, was more interesting than they can do slightly different sound thing that really, outside of that one scene with the hunters, didn't amount to anything else, and the graboids weren't any different. They said they had some extra armor or something. One of them was giant and ate an elephant, but it really didn't... It didn't cause any issues that they couldn't deal with, just like normal graboids. And we didn't have any ass blasters, so I don't know, it didn't feel like that different.
Yeah, it seemed weird to talk about the threat of ass blasters and then never get one. Like, we called it Shrieker Island, not Ass Blaster Bash.
They put the buttholes on their faces as an homage to the ass blasters. Like, they were there in spirit, I think. Do you have anything else about the plot you would like to discuss before we start wrapping things up?
I'm just feeling super overconfident about this.
That's my personality trait. I go,
Yeah, everything's fine. I know everything except I don't know anything. Quick, color grade my stupid hunting island stupidly.
Also, Burt Gummer is Raiden.
Yeah, he was Raiden. That's not Burt, he's just a beggar.
Alright, Phelan, I think we should end on an unnecessary creepy laugh. Just end on a sad note like the movie.
Celebrate Movie Nights Day.
Celebrate Movie Nights Day on whatever day I publish this.
Yeah. Like, it'll be like almost Jurassic Park, but then it'll go off into something else, like in this movie. A few times the score sounds like...